Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills in order to help you level up your way with words. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome aboard. Every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm dropping brand new videos on speaking skills, writing skills, social skills, along with other topics which will make you much more articulate in expressing your ideas. To stay updated, hit that subscribe button right on below, hit that bell notification, and never miss another video again. In today's episode, I'm going to be teaching you how to improve your memory in an efficient way, and I would also say in an unorthodox way. This is not like the traditional ways out there. This is an internal way. And by using this internal way, your external world is going to change in the process. Right now, if I go to a doctor and I have him cut open a person and I'm like, yo, doctor, where in this person are his thoughts? This doctor would not have a clue. He could tell you where the bones are, where the esophagus is, where the kidneys are, but he cannot necessarily tell you where the thoughts are, the memory is. That's because thoughts and memory are what we call intangible. And even though it's intangible, let's not undermine its importance. It's something that's extremely important because if you're someone who is losing your memory, immediately you'll start to feel fear in your body. You'll feel terrified. And what's ironic about all of this is that oftentimes people are more scared about forgetting small details versus the big ones. Because when they start to forget the little things in their life, it starts to show red flags. Am I going to be one of these people who can't remember something? That's why you want to nip this problem in the bud quick before it gets worse. You want to understand how to improve your memory correctly. I want to tell you a story about two different women. One is called Jezebel and the other is called Cleopatra. And I want to tell you a story about what they did when a hurricane was about to hit where they're located. And I want you to understand what it is that these two characters are trying to teach you in regards to your memory. And this is when you're going to understand that it's about the internal state first before you try to learn in the external state. If you're ready and excited for today's video, go on and drop that like for me right on below. Jezebel and Cleopatra are two different people in terms of their identity. Jezebel, her entire life, she's been book smart. She always wanted to be that one person that got ahead. Whenever her teachers asked her a question, she would be the first to raise it, whether or not she knew the answer. She just wanted to prove that she was number one. Cleopatra was not book smart. I would say she's more street smart. She didn't succeed in school like Jezebel, but she was smart in terms of practicality, in terms of getting the right information and showing results with it. Although these two are different, they happen to be cousins. And not only are they cousins, they're best friends. They talk about everything. They've spent many chapters of their life together, and at this chapter, something's about to happen. They live in Florida. And if you're from Florida, you know what I'm about to say. And if you're not, I'm sure you'll understand what I'm trying to say. There's a lot of hurricanes that hit Florida. And since us Floridians are consistently dealing with so much hurricanes, we start to take it seriously only when it's above category 3. If it's category 3, which is nothing to be trifled with, we don't take it as seriously as we should. And it just so happens that a category 3 hurricane is about to hit Jezebel and Cleopatra. They're not taking it seriously. They're like, so what? I'm not going to even put up the shutters. But deep inside, both of them feel as though something is about to happen with this hurricane. And this feeling is something that becomes reality. They check the news, and the news anchor says, this category 3 hurricane is now a category 4 hurricane, And by the time it hits Florida, it's going to be a Category 5. Category 5 hurricanes are bad. And at this point, Jezebel and Cleopatra are late. Because at this point of the announcement of it being a Category 5, there are masses of people going to fill up their cars with gasoline. A huge amount of people going to local convenience shops trying to get toilet paper, food, supplies, and a bunch of people going to Home Depot to get wood. Wood, which is going to cover their windows and keep them sheltered. Jezebel and Cleopatra don't know what to do. They're so late. How are they going to make time for the supplies? But we know Jezebel. She's the book smart one. She always wants to be number one. So before Cleopatra can even think, Jezebel leaves. She starts to go to Home Depot to buy the wood that is going to cover the windows and keep her house sheltered. Well, at this point, Cleopatra is thinking, what kind of wood do I need? I want to make sure I'm not getting really big wood, which isn't going to fit certain windows. And I want to make sure I'm not getting small wood, which isn't going to fit the big windows in my area. So she's spending a whole bunch of time getting to know her house. And as she's getting to know the house, Jezebel comes back and she's like, you still haven't left yet? I already got all the wood. I already have most things figured out. Cleopatra's like, no, I'm taking some time with this. Once she's done getting to know her house, now she drives to Home Depot to pick up the wood. Since she knew her house so well, she ended up picking the right sized wood. Everything came crystal clear, and since she's getting it from Home Depot, they're even cutting the boards for her. By the time she gets back, she notices that Jezebel has this scary looking face. She's like, oh no, Cleopatra, I made a mistake. I ended up getting the wrong size wood. And now, at this point, it's too late because they were already low in supplies. I'm sure they don't have the right supplies for me. And she's over here panicking because the supplies that she got doesn't fit her windows or her doors or anything for that matter. But with Cleopatra, everything she got fits perfectly. What's the difference between these two? The difference is that Cleopatra got to know her house, while Jezebel did not get to know her house. And due to not knowing her house, she got all this unnecessary wood, which isn't going to serve her any purpose at this point. Sure, she could break it and she could try to morph it and try to make it fit, but she wasted so much time. At this point, the hurricane is going to hit you, girl. And you can't do much about that. It's unfortunate. Cleopatra is who we should strive to be. We need to get to know our house so we pick the right wood. And the symbols in regards to this is that our house is us. We got to know ourselves in a deeper level. To improve memory in high level states, at first you may think, all right, well, let me look around me. Let me get a better note-taking system, more index cards, more highlighters, all these things around me. But what I'm trying to say is you look internal. You try to improve your introspection skills. And if you have no clue how to introspect, I actually made a video on this a couple of months back. I'll link it right on here and in the description box right on below. If you're watching from TV, you could just type in Introspection, Armani Talks. It should be the first video that pops up. In that video, I talk about how you want to use your mind and your body as tools. Tools that are trying to improve towards something. And you could treat it like a tool by not identifying with the mind and the body, but viewing it as something that is in your possession. So rather than saying, I am the mind and the body, you say, I have a mind and a body. By making this transition, what happens is now you're able to introspect in a much more objective way, geared towards a goal. This is equivalent to Cleopatra measuring her windows, measuring her doors, measuring her living facility. This is her getting to know the house. So when she does go to Home Depot to get the wood, she gets the stuff that fits. And likewise, when you start to introspect more and you start to understand how the mind and the body works, you understand what goals you are trying to improve in, that's when you getting the right wood is equivalent to you getting the right knowledge. And when you get the right knowledge, it's not as though you're memorizing anything. It's as though you know it. You see what I'm saying? When you see no use for this knowledge in your life, now you're memorizing. Now you're thinking, okay, let me use all these different formulas to understand it on a deeper level, which every now and then it's fine to do. But when you're truly learning something that is relevant into your life, it just becomes absorbed in you. You don't have to do as much steps. You don't need to exactly do all these different note-taking systems. It's something that you can directly interpret because you're leading with introspection first. So the recap for today's video is that you're currently struggling with memory, most likely because you're being a Jezebel. You're focusing a little too much on the wood and on the external world. You want to be number one. How can I remember all these different information that I have zero clue how it pertains to me? Instead of using this mindset, you want to use the mindset of Cleopatra, the person who's taking more time trying to get to know her house. So when she does get the right wood, rather than cutting it and piecing it all together, it just plugs right in. And you do that by learning how to introspect. Introspect by using your mind and body as tools rather than something that you identify with. The better that you know your house, the more that you get the right information which plugs into your life. And when it plugs in, you ain't really trying to memorize too much. This is a cheat code that all great learners know on a being level, not just on a head level. So if you learned a thing or two in today's video, and this is a surreal way to view memorization skills, be sure to get more knowledge like this in the Level Up Mentality, a guide to re-engineer your mindset for confidence. In this book, you're going to learn tips and tricks on how to effectively introspect for practical improvements in your life rather than just introspecting and giving yourself anxiety. You're going to learn how to build an elephant memory so you can recall information and perceive information to teach others, and you're going to understand how to create goals which are specific, which are clear, which are so smallly broken down that it's difficult to suffer from analysis paralysis. Tons of innovative concepts in the Level Up Mentality. You can grab the book in the description box or the pinned comment right on below. And thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel.